This video is brought to you by pork, the other white meat. So Eminem is naturally back at the forefront of hip-hop news again with a recent tweet that he made regarding Kendrick Lamar's album. Now, for those of you completely disconnected from reality, obviously Kendrick Lamar has dropped a brand new album. It has stirred up a lot of controversy on the internet sphere. There's even been trolls and people saying that somehow this album is mid. There's people hating on it, people saying that Kendrick should have just stayed in retirement, and there's others who absolutely love it. But Eminem has decided to weigh in on the matter, and this is what he had to say about it. Yo, Dr. Dre, this Kendrick album is effing ridiculous. I'm speechless. Now, a quick note to Ken Caniff or whoever is running Eminem social media right now. Elon Musk just bought Twitter, so you don't have to worry about censoring yourself anymore. Everything's freedom of speech now. It's great. But yeah, obviously when Eminem gets involved and does anything and says a single statement or even wipes his butt, naturally it causes more controversy. People saying, why did he censor himself out with the F word? Why did he tag Dr. Dre? Well, you idiots, Dr. Dre is still trapped in Eminem's basement. I mean, how else is he supposed to get in contact with him? I would tweet him too. And then, of course, there's the geniuses who say, well, Eminem could just tell Dre himself. He doesn't have to share it in a public space. But if you step back and you look at the bigger picture and the PR implications from this one, there is a reason why either Eminem or someone on his team who runs his social media decided to tweet this out. And this really kind of boils down to what this channel stands for, the fight that we have ongoing. I mean, in mainstream rap, in mainstream hip hop nowadays, lyrical, more thought-provoking artists who make you really have to digest lyrics, examine them, think about them, debate them over, they're not as popular. They're not as prevalent as other artists and other types of rap music out right now. So it feels like the handful of artists that we still have who are very lyrical in the game and at the top of the game in attention, the J. Coles, the Kendrick Lamar's, the Eminems and such, whenever they release something, it gets put under such a larger microscope and it falls under so much more scrutiny. Which is ironic because where was this same energy that I'm seeing for Kendrick's album when Future dropped his album? Where was this same energy of scrutinizing whenever other artists tend to drop? It doesn't happen. It happens because Kendrick is a deeper rapper, because there are higher expectations for his level of talent, for his ability. Just like when Eminem drops, there are higher expectations for his level of talent, and we hold them to a different pedigree. And Eminem sees this, and Eminem realizes this. You know, this is one of those where you support your own. You know, Eminem's coming out and speaking out for Kendrick because he is also seeing some of the hate that Kendrick is getting for this album. He is also seeing the negativity that gets stirred up. Much of the same negativity that comes after him whenever he has new releases. And lyricism really is a dying breed in the game. So Eminem, by making this tweet, knows what it's going to do. You know, this is his way of supporting a fellow lyricist. This is his way of trying to throw his weight and his influence behind the movement of lyricism within hip-hop and supporting someone else who does that. You know, it looks like a simple tweet of support on the surface, but really it's a game of chess, and it's a chess move for trying to continue this trend of appreciating lyricism within the culture and trying to move the needle a little bit in terms of what's popular. So yeah, it's a fellow lyricist supporting a fellow lyricist, and I think that's very important to get behind. Also, we all saw the Super Bowl. We saw Eminem perform. We saw Kendrick Lamar perform. We saw Dr. Dre perform. Kendrick is still a part of Aftermath, the label. He has serious ties with Dr. Dre. He also has the West Coast ties, obviously the Compton ties with Dre. And yes, obviously he could have just talked to Dre himself. He could have just called him on the phone. But no, he made a public tweet because he wanted his fan base, he wanted others to see it and to throw further attention and further light on Kendrick's album and release. And while we're on the subject of this album, listen, I've only worked through a few tracks so far. If you guys want to check out my breakdowns, we are really deep diving, going through the different songs on this. But, you know, this to me thus far is a work of art. And any good art can only truly be appreciated over time. It's not something you're going to grasp all the concepts with one listen. There are layers to the production. There are layers to the metaphors, to the symbolism, to the stories that are told. There are different ways that things can be taken, and you have to really sit back and appreciate that. And it's kind of like a fine wine that ages over time. The more you reflect, the more you digest it, the more you take it on board, the more you can really see some of Kendrick's perspective and his true artistry behind this one. So, you know, obviously we live in a world of this. Everything's so instant. But classic albums are not always recognized as classic albums right away. You have to give an album time to marinate. You have to see it if it passes the time test. You know, the first time a song hits us, we might not appreciate it right away. Or we might love a song, but it doesn't last that long because it doesn't have that substance. It doesn't have that qualifying factor that keeps us coming back to it. Whereas truly classic songs and truly classic albums withstand the test of time, and they seem to get better with time on the second listen, on the third listen, on the fourth listen, when there's things that we miss, things that we pick up on, things that speak to us emotionally that we connect with and never lose that connection with. So yeah, I'll let you guys know what I think. I'll give you my first impressions on this album, and then I'll come back and do a review after a few listens. I'm thinking about going live on Twitch to do remaining songs after we work through a few more here on the channel, but I'll keep you guys updated along the way, and we'll just see where we get to. But how do you guys feel about the album? I want to know your takes on it so far. You know, how many times have you listened to it? What are your favorite songs? Comment. Let me know down below. Let's see where we go with this. And for those of you still hating on the lyricism of Kendrick Lamar or Eminem, well, we've got one thing to say to you.
Bitch, I can make orange rhyme with banana. Or nana.